I made a comment on one of your videos a while ago, and you liked it, and I was here to say that Shalom Alaikum from Lebanon,
Hey,
from
brother.
southern Lebanon, I should say.
Wow, southern
And
Lebanon.
I'm here to, yeah, man, I'm here to explain. Like, I've got a life story here, and it's like I was buried on October 7th, and we didn't get the news until we went to the hotel, and I was like, oh shit, right? Like, I was like, this isn't going to be good. You know, I was very upset about the Palestinian thing. The reason I have been trying to get in touch with somebody is because I got to make it clear, not all Lebanese hate Israel, and there are people who are here trying to like form a movement, right? Like our new president, we're hoping will sign the Abraham Accords. The problem is we have Hezbollah breathing down our backs. Even if you guys eliminated like the majority of them, they're still threatening us with a civil war. You know, if we try to normalize relations with Israel. For example, when the president said to that Iranian plane, "You're not landing in our airport," all the Hezbs, they all started screaming, "Oh, you're taking orders from the Zionists! You're an enemy!" You know, things like that. And it's been a trip here. I stayed here throughout the war, and I left my house when the bombing really got intense. Like a rock, or it was a rocket or a missile flew over the house. Like you just heard the whistle, right? And when I heard that, I was like, we gotta pack our shit and go, right? So we ran to the mountains. Now, my mother is a American, Hungarian, Polish woman, right? With Jewish, with her mother was Jewish. God bless her soul. I never got to meet her, and I was interested in the whole thing of supporting Zionism for a while, right? My father's side is Shia.
Mm-hmm.
I've had cousins I've had to cut out of my life because they are blindly supporting Hezbollah and shit, and they went to those Hezbollah camps, right? I don't know what like those training camps, and I've had to cut them out of my life. These guys, my cousins, they're only like 14, 15, 16, 17, you know, like a mix of this age, and they're going to these camps telling me that Hezbollah is putting like medicine in their food so they don't get erections because they can't jerk off and all that stuff, right? And they're telling me things like, oh, they give us guns and they teach us how to shoot and everything. And I tell them, I say, okay, what is it your point is to do exactly? They're like, oh, we're trying to save Al-Aqsa. I said, but Palestinian land is not Lebanese land. Why are you going to go fight for the Palestinian land? They told me it's because that mosque is for all of Islam. I said to them, before it was a mosque, it was a temple. You cannot say that it belongs to you guys. I mentioned an idea because they're still complaining about the Shebach farms.
Shebach Farms?
Yeah, Shebach farms at the northern Israel, which used to belong to Lebanon on the Lebanese side before the Lebanese were launching rockets, so it got annexed.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Well, I've mentioned this. I've asked my family. I said, if Israel were to give Shebach farms back, would Hezbollah cease to like be aggressive? Would they be happy? Would they be, you know? And I had one cousin say no. He was like, no, we want all of Al-Aqsa and all this shit. And then I had one cousin say, we don't know what Hezbollah would do. And then I've had one cousin say, all we need is our part of the land back. And my argument with them was the problem is just like the Shia and the Sunni fighting each other, you cannot, how do you say, you guys won't be happy until you have it all. You want your cake and you want to eat it too, you know, like that's their problem. It baffles me, really. Like it's,
Can I
you know,
can I counter a little bit of what you're saying in a very polite way?
yeah, of course.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say, oh wow, we're gonna get two Lebanese in here. This is, cause I was gonna say, Steven, you sound like our friend Sammy, and Sammy just popped in. Sammy, are you here? Sammy's Lebanese as well. I think he's Southern Lebanese as well. Let's see if Sammy joins in. It'd be crazy if we had double Southern Lebanese in the chat. Okay. This part of the live stream is definitely gonna get clipped, by the way, because it's rare that we get Arabs to call in now. So here's my personal opinion, okay? And I'm gonna try to say this in the most respectful manner possible. One, just in this simple conversation, you proved to me a couple things about the society that you come from, which is the Arab society. Do you believe that you're an Arab? Do you like identify as Arab?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't identify as Arab because I was born in the States. I'll tell you what I do identify as. I identify as a Levantine.
As a
We're in the
Levantine.
Levant. We're not part of the Arabian Peninsula.
So it's so interesting because like the people around you, they pick and choose when they enter the Arab circles and when they exit them. And they also pick and choose racistly when they defend Arab land and when they don't. And again,
Yes.
I agree with you. You have no responsibility over Palestinian land, which again isn't Palestinian land because there's no such thing as Palestinian land. But
Exactly.
you have no one, you have no right to it, but two, you have no responsibility over it. You should be focusing on bettering your nation and your borders. So I agree with you, but that's also
And I've been spreading this message.
but that's also a clear
been spreading that
indication. It's a clear indication of what I talk about on a regular basis, which is the Arab world, or at least the people who exist in the Arab world, pick and choose when they want to be racist or when they want to be discriminatory against their neighbors when it is convenient for them. And I'm not saying that as a shortcoming of you, Stephen. I'm saying that as a shortcoming of your society as a whole. You guys will pick and choose when you enter those circles to say, hey, this is a cause I want to get behind because I believe in these people. But when the going gets rough, instead of being united, I'll just throw these people under the bus. Again, not a representation of you. It's a representation of your people at large. That's one. Two, I'm of the personal belief, and I will say this, and it will sound offensive, and it will sound pretentious, but I truly believe it. Okay, buckle up. This could be a little spicy. I believe it's worth fighting for. You guys have nothing. You have nothing to do with Islam. You have nothing to do with Arabs, and literally nobody in the Arab world believes you're Arabs. You guys, even 99% of you don't even believe that you're Arabs, and you're the. I'm not saying this in a way that you guys are, but you're the laughingstock of the Muslim world. You guys focus on buying Gucci bags and having orgy parties in Beirut and representing that as your society rather than being true Muslims. So why the fuck do I as a Jew need to be running from rockets from your fucking country when you guys don't even believe in the thing you're fighting for yourself? And Stephen, again, this is not a representation of you, but what I'm because I don't think that you're a part of the problem, but your society.
Oh hell no! As I said,
your society is.
I hold on to my Jewish roots.
And I think that you guys, if you were smart about it, you would rise up and fight this fight so we don't have to do it for you because we're not going to do a good job at it.
I've said this. I've said this to all the Christians I've came across, and the problem is. How do you explain?
Wait, Stephen. Let me add in one more thing. I'm going to cut you off and then I'm going to let you speak. It's one last thing. I've read everything that I do. Okay, every conversation piece, every argument that you hear me speak, I've done an immense amount of research to back up what I'm going to say. And I know shit about your society that you'll be shocked to know. Okay, and specifically with Lebanese people, I've had an insane year with Lebanese people, an insane amount of support behind the scenes from Lebanese people. I've had conversations with Lebanese people who I never thought in my life I'd have ever in my life. Like I've gotten a very deep perspective on Lebanon, more so than I ever could have imagined. And the conclusion that I got from it, okay, is that there's a true problem in Lebanese Christian society where it's kind of corrupt in a sense that we know that you guys have millionaires, Maronite Christians and other Christians from Lebanon that fled Lebanon all over the world. If you guys wanted a true uprising, that you guys are way more powerful than the Jewish communities, you're way more powerful than the Jewish cabal. If you really wanted to fight this fight and clear your country of radical Islam, take back Lebanon as a Christian country, or at the very least a Muslim country that supports Christianity, you could have done it tomorrow. What it'll require? You guys to lose millions, potentially billions of dollars collectively. Your community will be under fire for many years, and a lot of you are going to die. But at the end of the day, you might get a chance at taking back your nation. And that's worth fighting for. That is worth fighting for. I agree.
It is. And, you know, the things I've seen out here have made me sick to my stomach. Like for example, I'm living in like a small like valley, right? And above me is all the palaces and mansions of rich Shia Lebanese and everything. They go to Africa and do the slave. Like they have their own slave trade in Africa still, the Lebanese. For example, they're doing diamond mines, gold mines, cocoa farms, you know, all the unethical things over there in places like the Cote d'Ivoire and Abidjan and what's the other what's that other the South African area? What's
There's,
the
I
name
mean,
of that
it's
place?
like Liberia. It happens in Liberia. It happens in Ghana with the cocoa. It's all over West Africa.
Exactly. West Africa and South Africa, they're doing this
Yeah.
shit. The thing is, I don't disagree with any of your points, and I agree with the civil war and everything. And I've seen like the problem being like I was here when you guys assassinated Nasrallah. The problem is he's so ingrained into their heads that even these children that are like 5 years old are crying for a man they never even met. That's the problem. That's the problem. Everything I've seen here.
The problem is as well, Stephen, is you got to fight for it. You got to fight for it.
If I may.
You can't fight because the problem is the community won't allow. Like for example, I've tried doing like how do you say the good fight, kind of like what you're doing over the internet, like a verbal like talking with people. But I've tried doing it in like real life with people, like some of my neighbors and shit. I tried spreading the message: oh, Israel doesn't want war. Why are we fighting for the Palestinians? And all their responses are, Al-Aqsa belongs to Islam. And I'm like, okay, but the Sunni reject you. You guys are Shia. The Sunni reject you. You guys are.
But
like,
do you understand? Do you understand, Stephen, that all of this whataboutism, and I'm not blaming you, but this is the common response I get from most Lebanese people. It's just like, but it's this, but it's this, but it's this. If you keep doing the but it's this, but it's this, but it's this, you lose your nation. You lose the nation. I mean, you guys. I mean, I could argue that you guys have already kind of lost the nation. That there's not much left to salvage. But truth is, it's worth fighting for. It's worth risking everything for. Everything. It's worth risking life and limb because you don't have anything else. The problem is, and this is an assessment of Lebanese society from somebody who has never been to Lebanon, who's looking from far away. But again, I've gotten a lot of information and inside scoop this year. I think that a lot of you are way too comfortable. Way too comfortable. You've never had to deal with the real reality of being persecuted because you are a Christian. Not yet. It's gonna happen, but you're not there yet.
Oh, yeah.
And again, a majority of Lebanese people are too comfortable partying and buying Gucci bags in Beirut and having these random orgy parties and trance parties and doing drugs and going on vacation to Thessaloniki and to Athens and to Turkey and having fun sailing and enjoying and living as a European while your country falls apart. You know what the thing is about Europeans is? The Europeans worked and colonized and fucked the rest of the world to get to the point where they could enjoy that shit. You guys didn't. You guys have a lot of work to do left.